Okay, welcome back for a little bit more solving. Hopefully you saw the first video or two or discussing this and some of the more easy equations. I want to try and go into some of the more difficult stuff that we can do. So, bring this up. Remember, you need this crib sheet. Make a copy for yourself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that this actually has more steps for when you get more advanced. Okay. So, I'm going to start off with something a little bit more common. This one right here. This has actually two equations. So how can I use this to solve two equations? Well, what I'm going to do is I realize that I have a y equals and a y equals. I'm going to write them up here. Y equals negative 8x minus 20. And y equals negative 3x minus 5. Well, there's no parentheses and there's none of this is happening. But since I know that this y is the same as this y and they're interchangeable, what they're equal to is also interchangeable. Now I can apply substitution I can substitute this negative 3x minus 5 in for that y right there. And I can rewrite this equation on the top with this in front and then that there. Now, look what just happened. I'm over here. There's no parentheses. There's no like terms on the same side, but there are variables on both sides. Here's my variables. This one's more positive, so I want to get rid of this one. Plus 8x. Plus 8x. Negative 3 plus 8. And notice how I put the 8x under the 3x instead of under the 5, because I want to put like terms next to each other. So this becomes 5x minus 5 equals negative 20. These are gone. Now I'm down here. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Well, I want to take care of my adding, subtracting. Remove my minus 5 by adding 5. Adding 5. 5x equals negative 15. And now I'm going to multiply and divide by 5 by 5. X equals negative 3. Well, I found x. But since we did have an equation that had y's in it, I can now use substitution to find y. Now substitution is not on here, but I can still use it. This negative 3, I'm going to put it either here or here. It does not matter where. Y equals, I'll take the top one, negative 8x. Oop, negative 3. Negative 8x minus 20. So the negative 8x minus 20. Negative 8 times negative 3 is 24 minus 20. Okay. 24 minus 20 is 4. Now I would have two answers, negative 3, 4. Okay, that works when I have what's called a system of equations. What if I've got just something more algebraical? New word. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try this one. Can you see it? Right there. I'm going to rewrite it. It says negative 10 minus 9x squared equals negative 586. Yep. Okay, so I have a new type of equation here. I don't have parentheses. I don't have like terms. The variable is right here, so I don't move it. Add and subtract. Okay, I'm going to add and subtract. I'm going to take care of this negative 10 by adding 10. Adding 10. Negative 9x squared equals negative 586 plus 7 is negative 576. Negative 586 plus 10. 576. Now we'll multiply and divide. Divide by 9. Negative 9. Divide by negative 9. Well, I can't do that in my head. So negative 576 divided by negative 9. 64. It says x squared equals 64. Well, it looks like x is alone, and I run out of steps. Well, there's a fifth step now. Exponents. Take care of your exponents. I need to figure out what's the opposite of a square, because I want x, not x squared. Well, when you look at a calculator, you're going to notice something you should notice something very interesting. It comes in partners. Add and subtract are right next to each other. Multiply and divide are next to each other. Do you see the square? Its partner's right there, square root. So what I need is a square root of 64. So I will go like this, and I will get x equals 8. Now there's something missing here. Calculator will tell me 8, but I could have multiplied by a negative 8 by itself to also get 64. I will have two answers. That 2 means I could have two answers. I just happen to have a positive and a negative 8. Okay, this is some wild stuff. Let's try this one. I have a whole bunch of fractions. Let me write them down. 1 over p squared. 1 over p squared minus 1 over 3p equals 1 over 3p squared. Okay, I'm used to having all the p's on top. Now they're on bottom. This isn't covered here. I'm not sure what to do, but I want my p's on top. So I'm going to multiply by least common denominator, LCD. I'm going to multiply this whole equation by p squared, 3p squared. This way, the first one, the p squares cancel. I get 3 times 1, 3. Here, the 3 and the p cancel, but I still have one of the p's left over. So I have minus p. And the last one, the 3p squared and 3p squared cancel, so it equals 1. Well, no, that's a lot easier. Now I can go down to here, skip, and subtract. I have a negative p with a positive 3. Take away 3. Negative p equals negative 2. Divide by negative 1, because the p is being multiplied by an invisible negative 1. P equals 2. Okay. That was exciting, and let's see if I can find one more exciting one to do on my stack of questions. Here we go. This one. I'm going to do this one. It says the square root of x over 6 equals the square root of 21 minus x. Okay, I don't have any of these. It's exponents. A square root is an exponent. So, remember I said that right here. The square root and a square are opposites. So I need a square, both sides. Square, square. I get x over 6 equals 21 minus x. That's a lot easier. Okay. This process is something you do over and over again. So I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. I'm going to start back up here. 1. Are there any parentheses? No. Combine like terms? No. Move the variable. Well, I can't move this. Well, I could move the variable and get a 0, but add or subtract. If I multiply and divide to get rid of this fraction, I'm going to do that first. 6, 6. These will cancel. X equals 6 times 21 is 126 minus 6x. Okay, I go through the process again. Simplify. Parentheses? No. Combine like terms? No. Move the variable? Yes. This one, here's my two variables. This one is my more positive. I'm going to get rid of this one. Plus 6x. Plus 6x. 7x equals 126. Move the variable, add, subtract, no. Multiply and divide, yes. Divide by 7, divide by 7. 126 divided by 7. 18. X equals 18. Now, originally, what you're normally supposed to do is check up here, make sure it makes sense, because you're not supposed to have negatives up here. So 21 minus 18, that's 3, that's okay. 18 divided by 6 is 3, so 3 and 3, yep. So this is how you can use this process with a little bit extra, and it'll take you pretty well into Algebra 2. All right, have a good day.